Hello, Steve White, Trekboy89 for Steve Outs89. Well, we've had the first two episodes of Strange New Worlds put on Paramount Plus, and I want to talk about the first episode. I wasn't expecting much because it's basically just solve the cliffhanger from last season. I wasn't expecting any like new elements or new story or anything, and we didn't get anything like that. So, but who was expecting it? Okay, so we have the crew who are captured, wake up in pods, and they're going, of course, continuing on with the Alien ripoff, where they're basically stuck in these sacks and have to break out, and Ortegas has had her hand partially dissolved or eaten or something, and you see her bone. It's just really gross and unnecessary. And somehow she manages to find the transporter codes in some pod that's just near them, and conveniently they can read Gorn. I mean, they didn't have a Hura there or someone who was an expert. It's just Ortegas and Lan, because she'd had some experience with the Gorn in the past, and of course she's being triggered with the memories of her brother and everything, and they still managed to escape, and Ortegas manages to fly the shuttle. And I know I'm getting sort of out of sequence, but she does this with a huge wound, because there is a moment where they actually have to fight the Gorn, and she gets stabbed, impaled, and she's bleeding. So she's got half a hand missing. She's been partially digested, and has this wound, but yet she still manages to fly a totally alien ship with no issues, not even struggling. And at the end of it all, she's like, "I'm Ortegas, I fly the ship." And I'm like, really? They're still using that line? They're still reducing her to just the pilot? Yeah, so that whole element was okay. And I'm being sarcastic, I mean, really. Now, back with the rest of the crew, with the issue with Pike's girlfriend, I've forgotten her name, who had the Gorn's alien xenophobing out of her. They put her into suspension, but she's allergic to part of the treatment to actually put her under, so they can't do that. So she's got like this small amount of chance of surviving, or small amount of time before they hatch. Una donates her blood, which helps and gives her an increased chance of like 86% or something from like 100%. So it's a small improvement, but we wonder, is she going to have an issue with that? Because she did try Una about her genetic modifications, but she wasn't necessarily opposed to them. She was sort of put into that position, so I'm not quite sure. Don't they need to have her consent or something to do something like this? Blah, blah, blah. Eventually they come to this sort of idea of feeding the Gorn, so they stop feeding off her, and I think to slow the progress, and then they are basically, somehow she's going to absorb them, and I'm like, well, how is that going to work long term? And they really don't deal with it in any real detail. We sort of see this idea, and then at the end we have Spock and that come out of the surgery and Chapel, and it's sort of done, and we don't quite know exactly how they did what they did or what exactly is going to happen. So whether they're leaving this open for something later, or whether they just wanted to just resolve that problem and move on. Because there's a real Best of Both Worlds Part 2 vibe in this episode, because they literally steal the end of Best of Both Worlds, the solution in Best of Both Worlds, well, where they send out a signal to the Borg to put them all to sleep so they can destroy them. This one, I think it's Uhura, works out that there's an issue with stellar flares. If they can set off a stellar flare nearby, they can actually trigger all the Gorn to go into hibernation again. So that's what they do. So all the Gorn just go into hibernation, and then it's all over, and they don't have to worry about them ever again, basically, because they're like in hibernation now, and they could be in hibernation for God knows how long or something. So it's like, that was very convenient. They copied the Best of Both Worlds. Just the escape was lame. The fact they just were able to find the codes and everything, and Ortegas could fly the ship even though she's wounded. What else do we see? I mean, we see a moment of Pike praying before his girlfriend wakes up, and she does have a reaction to finding out about the modified blood transfer and everything. But I was expecting more of an issue, but maybe that will become a growing resentment or something between her and Pike or something. I think that's it. It just was like, let's just solve all the problems and just find the quickest, simplest way. And it did seem like a lot of cop outs and coincidences and good luck, and wasn't especially impressive. And we already knew sort of from the opening scene that we already seen in a clip, sort of how they're going to get away. And yeah, it just wasn't that remarkable, but it wasn't bad. It was just sort of there. I guess it's mid. Yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the opening episode, the second episode of, I've forgotten the name of it. Humminger or something like that. Yeah. Let's hope the next episode, looks like they wasted a whole episode. They could have just said 3 months later, we solved that problem and done an actual news story. It would have been more interesting. But yeah, so we just had a whole episode of them just getting out of the last situation from the end of last season.